Hello, niche website builders. Welcome
Hello,
to
hello.
the show. How you doing, Adam?
I am doing very well, thank you, Mark. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, we're in. We made the week. We made it in. Sorry, should I say start of the week? We just about made it in. Adam had trouble getting into our streaming software, as did our guest William. So we only just made it here by the skin of our teeth. But we are here after all.
Yes.
Yes. So we also have a bit of a lag. I'm hoping that might go away by the time we bring William on. We've got a bit of a lag between here and California. So I hope it's not going to be too bad. But yes, we do have a guest today. William was due to make it on the show last week, but didn't manage to due to some difficulties between time zones and booking calendars and things like that. So he's here this week though, and so we're going to get chatting to him about his journey building sites online. I'm going to talk about one of his sites in particular, I think, and just hear a bit from Matthew. So let's have a look. Who have we got here so far? We've got Daniel, we've got Chris, we've got Sam, we've got Brian, Birdie, and Maeve. Welcome to the show. So, Adam, what's been going on since last week?
Well, I went away for the weekend, which was nice. Went to West Wales, and we stayed in this glamping pod. This is like a posh version of camping, I guess. It was lovely. And then we went to Folly Farm, which started out as just a farm, but has now turned into something massive. They've got lions and penguins and giraffes, and I was actually really shocked to see how big the giraffes actually were, like in real life, up close. They're massive. Like I didn't expect them to be so big. Honestly, they're huge. They were the best part of the day for me, because when I saw them, I was like, oh, wow, how is that even a thing? Like, it just looks crazy. But
yeah, they're pretty big. They're pretty big.
Yeah, they're massive. And then we got to see the lions up close, and they were playing in front of us and messing around and stuff. So that was really cool. And the other thing, we were just talking about it before we started. I'm clearly going through some kind of midlife crisis because I've let Jess dye my beard and my hair again. And I promised last time, after she royally messed it up, that I'd never let her do it again. So, and here I am with a beard that looks way too dark for me and a hair that looks a different color to the beard. So
it's looking all right. It's looking good.
Make a strong beard. That's what I'm telling myself anyway, till it fades a bit.
Awesome.
How about you?
I'm all right, yeah. So I had my daughter's birthday at the weekend. She's 3, so that was good. My son, I think it was after the Wednesday stream, maybe a Wednesday or Thursday stream, he managed to smash his face on the concrete outside just as we finished the stream. I heard a bang. He got inside an empty water butt that we've got kicking around in the garden by using a step ladder. Got in, and then he sort of wanted to reach to put something on the step ladder, and then the water butt fell, and he couldn't break his fall because he was inside the water butt. Just his head was breaking out, so he went down and hit and smashed onto the concrete, and he got a black eye, and he cut his face, and then he got ill, and he's been off school since. But nothing to do with the smashed face, I don't think. Well, he did go for one day, but then he was ill, so he's not been doing too well. But yeah, so good. But my daughter's 3rd birthday at the weekend. She had a good day. It was a good day all around. So looks like our house might be moving forward as well. So all good.
Nice. Full of ups and downs in the Mars household this weekend.
It is. Cool. So right, today's show we've got a couple of main teardowns as usual. Then we're going to bring Matthew in to talk about his journey so far in building niche sites. And we're going to talk about the site in particular, as I mentioned. If you are new around here, do not forget to like and subscribe. The more people we get subscribed to the channel, the more people YouTube shows it to, and the more people that we get on the streams, which makes it more fun. So don't forget to like and subscribe. If we get enough likes and subscribes, we will do a giveaway at the end of the show for some merch, mugs, caps, and t-shirts. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Should also mention that
I'm going to draw on here now, like niche website builders. I can't find my t-shirt since we're moving house soon. I can't find it, so I'm just going to draw on my plain white ones, I think.
We'll get you some more. You got to get some. We've got to get some for the next 6 months, right? So
yeah. We can get some like tank t-shirts for when I'm in Spain and it's warm. A little lip slip, maybe.
Right. So also, yeah, we if you something we always forget to mention, if you want to use any of our services, you can check out a link in the subscription to get 10% additional content or 10% off links for any of your orders, whether you order pretty much anything you order, you're going to get 10% of something. So check out the link in the description for your 10% of something. Great.
Thorsten knows the score. He said Adam has paid the barber with merch. Yeah, it feels like. It's my wife. She's done a terrible job, hasn't she? Hope she's not watching because she'll do an even worse job next time. No.
Right. Shall we crack on? Otherwise, we're going to
run
out of time for Matthew, William. I keep calling everyone Matthew today. It's the second person I've tried to call Matthew. The last person was called Paul. Okay.
Right. Doing here today.
Do you want to go first or shall I?
Up to you. Whatever. You go first for a change, and I'll go.
Okay. So today I'm going to talk about domain in the pie niche. Well, it's called it was originally a pie niche, but you can be expanded out as we'll go into. It's about 8 years old. It's got some decent authority domains in there, but also a bunch of niche relevant ones as we'll come to. It's currently a DR20. So I'll share my screen and we'll go through that. Okay, so this is the listing. I always forget to mention.
Get rid of us from the bottom as well, by the way.
I will. I'll get rid of us from the bottom. Nobody wants to see us. Oh,
that's not right, is it?
There you go. Okay, so always forget to mention, like each of the domains that we do a teardown on, these are available on the Niche Website Builder's website to purchase with an age domain package. So it's like a done for you, ready to go site built on an age domain. So this one's EatKanga. Just taking a look at Wayback Machine and taking a look about at what this site was in the past. It was a site for a company that made meat pies. They're based in Canada, in Toronto. In Toronto, in Canada. And that's all the domain has ever been. This one's still loading by the looks of it. But essentially, the site's had a couple of design changes over time, but the use of the site has not changed. It's been the same ever since it started. So this is how it looks in Ahrefs. That's an 18. Yeah, did I say it was 18? 18. Had a bit of traffic in the past, which is good. Take a look at the referring domains. As I mentioned, it's got some really good authority domains here. So PR News Wire 92, CBC 91, eats.com 90, thestar.com 89, and so on. It's got a bunch of other high authority sites there. But as we kind of get down, you can see the it's like food gressing, Foodio 54, and a bunch of other kind of food based sites down here. So if we take a look at SEMrush, and see what SEMrush thinks it is. So this category up here is SEMrush looking at the content of the page essentially and what it thinks the site is about. It's pretty conclusive. It's about food and drink. So that's something that we take to our research, that we know that okay, we're definitely, the domain's good. It's working with a food and drink site. And there's the category of the domains like down here as well. So this is looking at the referring domains and trying to ascertain what the categories are for those age domain. There's referring domains. So we got, you can see food and drink, cooking, recipes, cuisines. So nice and consistent there. If you take a look at the top pages by backlinks, nothing really to report here other than that, as you would expect, the home page has got most of the backlinks, and there's no other pages really that have got many backlinks. So we wouldn't really look to be recreating any of the old pages or anything. It's all going to the home page. Taking a look at the anchor text, what we would hope to see is that it was mostly branded anchor text. As you can see, it is. We've got Kanga Aussie pies. Oh yeah, what I should mention is not only a pie shop, it was meat pies, as in meat pies, Australian meat pies. So they have a meat pie thing in Australia that's kind of, I guess, a bit like fish and chips in the UK, kind of meat pies in Australia. So you can see, yeah, it's all branded anchors. There's loads of branded anchors in here, and then kind of nothing out of the ordinary for the rest of the anchors that we're looking at here. So I took a look at some potentially competitor sites, or sites that we can use as inspiration for ours. So this one was the most obvious. It's kind of very a pie-based site. So this is Everyday Pie. It's DR29. It's currently getting, well, it's around 66 or so thousand. You can see it did used to be a lot higher. It dropped, but it's kind of, again, it's growing again, kind of over time. We take a look at number of pages. It's actually pretty low. There's only 226 pages on the site. You can take a look at that. There's a whole lot of basically recipes for pies. You can see apple pie filling, ricotta pie, egg wash, whatever that is, Oreo cookie pie crust. That sounds horrible, but that's definitely sounds a US thing. That I think whipped cream by hand, or Canadian, I guess probably. How to bake a frozen pie, pretzel pie crust, etc. So it's a cake-based one. This one's called Bubba Pie, although I only found it because of the pie reference. It hasn't really got anything to do with pies. I don't know what the pie thing is here, but it was still a good site to take a look at anyway. So it's doing pretty well. It's heading in the right direction. We're currently around 75 organics compared as reference to Ahrefs. As we mentioned, always on this is generally low. You can probably do 2 to 3 times this, and you're probably closer to the actual traffic. If we take a look in here at the stuff that ranks, so I thought this was quite interesting because where do you go from pies? You know, so you've kind of, pies quite a narrow niche once you've done everything in pies, and I imagine you can get quite far in pies once you go down through all the different kind of fillings and types of pies and things like that. You can probably go quite a long way. But then, you know, rather than just sort of expanding out into food, what are the other options? So one of the options I came up with, you know, food. Pies are often considered like a comfort foods. You've got comfort foods here. So peach cobbler. This one's very, very kind of random but they've got like casseroles and things like that. I've got a similar one here, which is probably slightly better example. Cooking for my soul, which again is doing really well. 90,000 organics, according to Ahrefs. What's going on here? Oh, there you go. Again, not very many pages really, considering the amount of traffic. And they've got Dutch oven pot roast, roast chicken, vanilla milkshakes, another beef stew, pizza, salmon Wellington. So stuff that you can go down here. This is kind of all recipe kind of based stuff again, but lots and lots of traffic for each of these, as you can see. And this is kind of along the similar lines, the Mountain Kitchen as well. Another site that's doing very well, heading in the right direction, 61 organics, DR31 from... a few more pages on this one, 700 or so pages. Again, we've got smoked, all recipes here, but very much in the one that kind of got me leading down here is that it's not only kind of comfort food, but there's kind of a lot of meat. And when we were talking about meat pies, generally with EatKanga, and I thought we could go down like the meat route a little bit further as well. So I found this site. This is a lady called Jess Priles. She's a TV personality, so I don't know her, but she might be known somewhere else in the world. But she's got a site that's been consistently good traffic over time, currently at 113,000. It's a bit of a higher DR, but you know, if you look at actually her profile here, it says hardcore carnivore. So this is kind of, a lot of her stuff is about meat. So again, I think meat, going down like a meat silo or a meat cluster for content would be really good, considering this was always based on pies and meat pies. So we've got, you know, how to make bacon, smoked barbecue beef ribs, meatloaf, beef tongue, pork rub, blah 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 blah. So you can see again, all of these have got very high traffic numbers as well. And a little bit along those lines, I figured, you know, once we're going into meat, there's a whole lot of different angles you can take from meat. So just to give one example, you could go into like steak as well and start talking about steak. This site's at 131,000 currently, so DR39, steakschool.com. It's only got 242 pages, but you can take a look at all the stuff. This is just steak content. I did have I might bring it up actually as well. So steak temperature chart. What cut of beef is Picana? I don't even know heard of that actually. What is tri-tip? Beef cuts, perfect beef roast, how to defrost steak, Angus, what is Angus beef? And if I take a quick show you of, we take a look at Keyword Explorer here. I'll just type in steak. Head off to the matching terms questions. And here we've got just steak-based, question-based keywords, 164,500. So if I just reduce that down a little bit by always give a minimum KD of 1 and a minimum volume of 1, so it gives us some keywords with some decent volume. We've still got 9,000 keywords here. I'll take a look through the kind of thing that we've got. Search by KD. How many calories in a 4-ounce steak? How many calories in a ham steak? How to reheat a tuna steak? Like there's just a ridiculous number of questions here we can kind of cover off if we were to go down like the steak space. And last but not least, once we've kind of got the site up and running, we can start to sprinkle in some affiliate offers as well. So our friends over at Authority Hacker have got a good article on cooking affiliate programs that you can cover off here. There's also another one on One More Cup of Coffee, which specifically has a steak program as well. So these guys sell steaks. So you can get 5% commission on a 10-day cookie for any kind of steak that you sell through their site. But there are bunch of other programs as well, like Made In, which is 15% on the 30-day cookie, etc. So I won't go through all of those, but of course, once we've got some traffic to the site, we can start adding some affiliate deals into the mix as well. That's about it for that one, I think, Adam.
Awesome. Yeah, some couple of fans of Aussie meat pies in the comments, it looks like. Never tried one. Love to try one. I love a meat pie, so
yeah,
love anything.
Something you do eat. Meat and pastry is fine. No vegetables in that, eh?
Yeah, the greasier and the more unhealthy, the better, I think. Right, let me share my screen and show and do my one quickly then, and then we'll get William on. So, can you share that for me? Cool. So the domain I am going to look at is called asharpmusicco.com, and as the name suggests, it was a music company. So been around for quite some time, been around since 2004 all the way through till kind of end of 2021. And by the looks of it, it'd been the same company, been the same owners, and it'd been the same kind of business, gone through a couple of kind of redesigns over the years, as you would expect. So this is kind of what it looked like in 2006, and they were selling acoustics, electrics, all guitar stuff, by the way. So amplifiers, used gear, etc. And then 2008, nothing much had changed. 2010, 12, and 14. So nothing really changed too much of the first 10 years. Obviously, they had new products and updated what they were selling, but essentially the site stayed the same. And then we'll fast forward a little bit to 2018. Same company, I assume. So anyway, same address, same telephone number, but obviously a new site design. And you can see here that they've got acoustic guitars and banjos and ukuleles and guitar pickups and electric guitars and amps. And they're basically an e-commerce store. It wasn't an affiliate site or anything. They sold the products online. They also had a kind of a brick and mortar shop, but they also sold online, and they did lessons, and they had like a repair aspect of the business, etc. And then basically stayed the same. You can see this is the same, but that kind of slider is not loading, but the rest is the same, and stayed the same then until 2021 when they're doing went offline. I don't know if they used to get most of their sales from brick and mortar, and due to COVID, the business shut down. You never fully understand or know the reasons why these domains expire. But in this case, we could probably make a guess that it could have been due to COVID, struggling with a brick and mortar shop. So looking at it in Ahrefs, just as a brief overview, you can see here that it used to get some traffic, not a ton of traffic, organic traffic, which is the reason why I think they probably struggled if they had to close the shop or footfall fell to the shop. But it used to get some traffic. DR18, 86 referring domains, still indexed. We've still got a couple of pages and a couple of keywords indexed. So when we have a look at those, according to Ahrefs, there's 23 pages indexed. And it's some product pages, some like the page about used amps, individual specific products, etc. Obviously the homepage. So that's always a good sign that even though it expired kind of 2021, it's been around for so long, Google still has some of these pages in the index. And not always, but typically what you find is that a site that still has pages indexed will usually come back to life a little bit quicker than a site that doesn't have any. Not always, but sometimes. And if we have a look at the keywords that are still, according to Ahrefs ranking, or still indexed in Google, we've got obviously the branded stuff. And then we've got kind of some like B-sharp music, like a review page, a couple of reviews, etc. So this just ties back with what pages are still currently indexed there. Anchor texts, all nice and clean, ordered highest to lowest with referring domains. It's branded, which is awesome towards the top. There's nothing else in there kind of untoward that you wouldn't expect to see in there, but it's always nice to see lots and lots of the primary anchor text branded like that. Referring domains, we've got a couple of high authority, but most of them are niche relevant. So we've got Huffington Post, but then we've got reverb.com, which is a massive music site, Taylor Guitars, PSR Guitars, there's GHS Strings, what else is in here? Sputnik Music, Talk Bass, Jazz Books, another guitar website, Acoustic Guitar Forum, musicplayer.com. Like there's tons and tons of like niche relevant domains in here, and you've got one or two kind of high authority sites. So this is a good mix, a good spread, but it really is kind of like proper niche down into the guitar space, which is awesome, because if you're going to build a site about guitars and you want links from other sites to talk about guitars, obviously you talk about niche relevancy all the time. When we look at the best pages by incoming links, so these are the pages on the website that have most of the links pointing back to them. This is in great shape. Almost all of them point back, or the majority of them point back to the homepage. And then down here, the next one is basically 3 links, 2 links, and then 1 link. So there wouldn't be a ton of tidying up. Sometimes with an e-commerce store, what you can find is if one product was really popular, that one product page can get a ton of backlinks, and you have to do a lot of like tidy up work and recreating content and setting up redirects, etc. In this case, there wouldn't be hardly anything like that to do, because most of the links go to the homepage and they're already preserved that way. So that's great. And then just a quick look back to 2018 when the site was getting some traffic. Had a ton of pages, but this is not really a worry considering I used to get not a lot of traffic in comparison to the number of pages. It's because it's an e-commerce store. I think you've got a page for every product on there. Depending on how e-commerce stores are set up and optimized, hardly any of them sometimes are going to get traffic. So it's no surprise that they had a lot of pages and maybe not a lot of traffic if their e-commerce store setup was not set up correctly for SEO traffic. And if we have a look at the keywords that we're ranking, same time, 5,000 keywords. Again, lots of branded stuff at the top, but as we go down, we've got individual products, as you would expect, because they had lots of individual product review pages. It's an e-commerce store, so everything in here looks good. It's nothing that you kind of wouldn't expect to see in here. So that's kind of an overview of the domain itself. And then what I pulled out then were 2 competitors, and I think they're both good competitors, but there's a stark difference between them. One is a great competitor for our Tomb Raiding plan, and one is a poor competitor for our Tomb Raiding plan. In general, I think if you were looking to build a site in this space and you didn't have specific knowledge and experience of the music world. So First one we're going to look at is called appliedguitartheory.com. DR12, so lower DR than we've currently got. Been around for, it looks like it started on a fresh domain, kind of 2018-ish. Took a while to kick off, as you would expect on a fresh domain over a 12-month period, and then seen some nice growth in the last year and a half, 2 years. According to SEMrush, getting 155,000 visits per month. So we probably know it's getting 300,000 plus. And they're doing that with just 161 pages. So awesome traffic to page ratio. And on the face of it, it looks like this site is doing really well and would make a great site for us to look at competing with. But then I started looking at the content, and I opened up the first couple of pages, and it looks like this. So we've got, it's obviously a content website, monetized predominantly through display ads. When we come down here, we've got like this interactive kind of bit where they've embedded what different sounds sound like. And then we've also got these drawings, which are on Pinterest. And if you click on it, it's taken to the appliedguitartheory.com Pinterest page. So I assume they've not taken these drawings anyway. They actually made them themselves, and because they've got lots of them, and they're the same format, they're the same color. And on the face of it, like, it would be very difficult to recreate these drawings. It would be very difficult to recreate this kind of content unless you actually was in the space and you knew exactly what this meant. As a content writer, you can write about music and you can write about certain types of music. And I found another site, which I'll show you in a sec, which anybody, even if you didn't have an experience of music, could write about. But in this case, it feels like to compete with this site for these topics and these keywords, this site in particular, you would need to have an understanding, a deep understanding of music and notes. And you can see in the pages, most of their top content, or almost all of it, is lessons, essentially, or different scales where they're teaching you how to play the music, what the notes mean, etc. There's another one, and again, they've got these drawings on here. And clearly someone spent a lot of time and effort, and it's paid off because they've got a lot of traffic for not a ton of pages. But I imagine each one of these pages took a lot of time to create all these graphics, etc. So I just wanted to show you that you have to dig in. Sometimes just looking at the metrics. Oh, DR12, lots of organic traffic, not many pages. Awesome. We can compete with that. In reality, when you look at it, probably can't, to be fair. Which leads me on to my next site, which I looked at and found, which was called guitarlobby.com. So DR24, slightly higher DR. Been around about a year less than that other website, and it's done extremely well, especially in the last 2 years or last year and a half. 200,000 page views according to SEMrush. 250. It's probably getting like 500,000 page views per month. And if we look at the pages, they've got 437 pages of content. So 4 times the amount of content, not quite 4 times the amount of traffic. But when we look at the content, it's our favorite. We harp on about listicles all the time because, one, they're great. It's easy content to create. It's easy to research. It's easy to pull together. And two, like, anybody can do this. You don't have to be an expert in heavy bass songs to pull together a list of the best 38 songs, essentially. And this website's done a great job of that. You can see almost all of their top performing content. They're all pretty much listicle articles. So in this case, you've got 38 best bass heavy songs. And essentially, it's YouTube videos that have been embedded, not their own YouTube videos. A little bit of write-up. There's between 150 and 200 words per write-up for each song. So some of the content is long. You've got 56 easy piano songs here. This is about 8,000 words. But when you think about it, 8,000 words to drive 4,000 visits per month, it's not a bad trade-off, to be fair. And this is all it is. So easy to format, easy to create, easy to research. I think they're missing a trick here in terms of their content isn't spread out enough, i.e. you can see they've got these ad spots in between, but really they should have more ad spots on a page that is this long. The whole plus side and benefit of creating content that is long form content is that you can have more adverts throughout. And I think if they split this content into much smaller paragraphs, they would have space and adverts would appear a lot. You could add more ad placeholders in there. So like just on a slightly different topic, if I was buying this website, the first thing I would do would be split up these and add more placeholders to increase revenue. So we could build that in mind when we build the website. So small conclusion, a little bit of wrapping it up at the end, and that's it. Like nothing complicated, nothing major. Same thing here, 58 easy piano songs for beginners. The one thing which you'll see as well, which we also do, which I like that they've done about this with this site, which also leads on to when we talk to our guest William in a second, they're lazy loading these videos. So they're YouTube, you can see that it's when I click them, only then does the script load, and that would be important when you make a website like this, when you're embedding 50 videos. If you didn't lazy load these YouTube videos, even though it's another Google product and you're embedding them via the Google embed code, slows the site down massively. So the fact they're doing that as well is good, but we could also do something similar. How we would beat this content, I suggest we would just do a little bit longer, to be honest. We would Google what easy piano songs for beginners were, have a look what were the SERPs were returning. I'm assuming that they're all going to be around the 50, maybe we would do 60. So to make ours just a little bit longer, a little bit better, and go from there, essentially. 50 easy country songs to play on the guitar, 17 best rock bands with female singers. So you get the gist and the feel of the type of content, and you can see that this type of content is so much more easier to research and create than the one where you have to make custom images and embed different tones and different sounds and things like that. And that's it. I'll wrap it up because I'm 5 minutes over where we thought we should be. You're on mute, Mark, I think.
I'll turn myself off mute then. Good work. Okay, yeah, so that domain is A-Sharp Music. Again, check that out on our website if you're interested in that domain and for us to build a site on that for you. So, okay, without further ado, should we bring Matthew into the fray?
Yes.
Oh, Matthew, I did it again. William. I keep calling people Matthew today. It's all of these names, these Christian names.
It's
Mark,
no problem.
Matthew, William. William, is that Matthew? Yeah. Whatever. How you doing, William?
William.
How's things going?
There's that delay, I think. So just to pre-warn everyone.
Good. How are you doing?
Between us speaking and William hearing us, basically.
But we'll avoid the quick rapid fire questions back and forth, and we'll go for the longer stuff. Yes, we can hear you, William. Yeah. William, to start off, tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us a bit about your experience, like how you got started in building content sites and where you're at today.
Yeah. Well.
Oh no.
The delay is long. I don't want to talk too much because you'll interrupt me.
Yeah. I do a bunch of random stuff. I bought and sold crypto. I've messed around telling jokes on television. I've done lots of stuff. Wow, there's a huge one there. And I bought this website. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I think. Wow, we might. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to make this work.
I can just share my screen and run through the website and run through the little things that I found, the observations that I saw, and then I don't know how we might not be able to do the whole interaction and feedback thing from William as we go, but I'm happy to share and kind of go through what we've seen.
Awesome.
And we should probably just end this by saying William is fine with us sharing his URL. Like, we asked him for his permission beforehand. We're not sharing this without his permission or anything like that. And he's happy for us to share the site on the stream. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started. So this is William's website. It's called RecipeSelf.com. you just mentioned there that he bought it, so I don't know a ton of history about the website itself. It looks like it was started on a fresh domain, kind of 2020-ish, June, July 2020. So it's about 2 years old. I'm not sure when William purchased this domain. Hopefully nowhere near the top, but it looks like there's obviously been some rapid growth over the first year and a half, up to about 50,000, so probably 100,000 plus page views, and then this rapid decline from February 2020 through to March, and then this slow kind of downward trickle here that's going on. But this is the website. I mean, looks like a decent website. The featured images are nice. The layout looks okay. There's not really much to say here. It looks kind of just like any other kind of recipe niche website that you would see. The first observation were that there's obviously lots of content, I should say, first of all. So there's 747 pages on here, and most of them look like they're individual recipe content. They've all got kind of recipe at the end. So it doesn't seem to be a ton of kind of informational content or roundup posts. There's just lots of single meal recipes. And the first thing that kind of strikes me was I'm struggling to see the direction of the site. Is it just meant to be like a general review website, or is it meant to be a diet website where they cover low carb and vegan and vegetarian? I guess that would be the first thing I would look at, is kind of, where is this site going? Like, what do you want it to cover? Is it going to be quick and easy food? Is it going to be diet food? Is it going to be vegan food? Is it vegetarian food? And I would try and make that more clear in the menu structure. We talk a lot about having quite like flat, easy to understand menu structures when we build websites on niche website builders. And I think this one needs a little bit of work. The categories probably need a little bit of thinking out. The posts probably need a little bit of re-signing. So when you come to the site, you can quickly and easily see, like, here are maybe the chicken recipes or the ground beef recipes. And I don't know what that would look like, but I feel like for 700 posts, I would struggle to find what I would be looking for easily within this menu structure. So that would just be the first thing I would look at. The other thing I wanted to look at is, like, what was this big drop here? Like, what happened? And the drop kind of started happening in February, and we all know Google is notorious with their Google updates. There's been one recently, and in February 2022, February 22nd, 2022, Google announced that there was an update, one of their core updates, page experience update. Basically, what that means is that page experience was looking at kind of web core vital scores, page speed, page experience. So what I did was I took the top two pieces of content that are driving the most traffic. So we've got this piece of content here and this piece of content here, and I just put them through the Google Page Speed Insight score, and I used the origin data as well. And the scores are really low. So it's 19 on mobile on that page and 28 on mobile on the other page. So if this update that happened in February was targeting page speed, then it's potential. I mean, we never really know what these Google updates are really about, but I think there's good potential that it's probably to do with page speed and page experience. And when I dug into a little bit, I mean, I'm no expert at understanding all of this stuff. Lots of this stuff is beyond my kind of skill set, but what I did see when I looked in there was a couple of things. The first thing was this first contentful paint. And basically what that means is, especially on a mobile, what's the first biggest asset that loads above the fold? This is what the page looks like on an iPhone. And we can see that the biggest asset that loads above the fold is this large image here, this large featured image. And it's this featured image right here. So the first thing I would do potentially to try and fix this is turn off the featured images on this website. When we build websites like from scratch here, we build them so they don't have the featured image showing. We still add a featured image because it's important for Google, but we take off this featured image from showing automatically before any of the content. And then what we do is we manually add it in as an image a couple of paragraphs down. So when you load the page on mobile, it's not a massive image, featured image that loads first. And typically that will sort out most of your first contentful paint or largest contentful paint, whichever one you look at. I think they're both mean the same thing. That will usually sort out that issue for you. So that would be the first thing I would look at. The second thing to look at is this this time to interactive. And basically, I think that means like how fast is your hosting? And I saw, and I just used a couple of different things for this. I looked at built with and what is its WordPress theme. And it says the hosting is with Amazon. So I don't know if that means it's on some kind of AWS platform, but I would look at what the hosting platform is and see is the server right? Is the setup right for a site that was potentially getting 100,000 plus visitors, especially considering it had adverts and videos, etc. I would look at like is my hosting up to speed. Another thing on here, and I can't remember where it was in here now, but basically said one of these said that there's no lazy loading on the site. So when you load up the page, everything loads, including all the images. So all these images, all the assets, everything loads all in one go. And you can either use a plugin, like a caching or a lazy loading plugin, or I can see that the site's obviously got adverts on here. I can see that some of them are through Ezoic. So Ezoic, I'd set up Ezoic Leap. I don't know if you've got Ezoic Leap activated on the website, but when you activate Ezoic Leap, you get this kind of list of things, and it basically says turn off XYZ plugin and let Leap handle that. And Leap also, like one of the things that it handles is the lazy loading. So I would definitely look at using Leap and following the instructions, going through it step by step and kind of working out what needs to be, like what plugins you need on the website and what plugins you don't need because Leap will handle it. And you probably end up removing a lot of plugins that you don't need.
William was nodding, so I guess he does have Leap on there.
Okay. The other thing I would look at is caching. So again, depending on your server or your hosting, some of them will have server caching. Depending on how you've set up your Ezoic Leap, like it doesn't really play very well sometimes. So you might want to either turn on or turn off server caching if you have it, and use Ezoic's caching feature. And the other thing that I looked at was these video adverts. So when I load the site via as a mobile, like it appears massively there, and I don't know how much bandwidth this takes up. There's lots of bits in here, scripts that talk about videos loading, and I do wonder if it's this video player that automatically loads and kind of covers a good chunk of the screen. I'd probably have a look if it's with Ezoic. I'd have a look to see how much revenue this is driving in its current format. Maybe as the pop-up interstitial, it's driving a decent amount of traffic when people close it. But there are other options for integrating video. You can integrate the video directly within the content if you want. So it doesn't load like this. It doesn't load above the fold. It's not always in view. So I would check to see what the revenue payoff is. Is this ad spot driving you tons of money? If it's not, then I would probably look at alternatives to embed it a little bit further down or do something to stop that, because lots of the scripts were calling about videos. Just a couple more things. It looks like the theme is built on Pixelwell as the theme. I've never heard of Pixelwell. I don't know if it's lightweight or not, but like typically most people in the space tend to use either Astra or GeneratePress. They're very lightweight. They're very well supported. Lots of themes come with lots of bloat, like lots of coding bloat. I don't know if Pixelwell is one of them, but I would definitely look to see if that's the case. And if it is the case, then move it over to a more lightweight theme. The other thing which is a bit weird on there was that it's got WooCommerce on there, but I couldn't see anything on here like that would require WooCommerce. I couldn't see any kind of e-commerce aspect to the website. So I'd be interested to understand like what's WooCommerce powering on there, if anything, and see if you can remove that and try and remove that from the site. So they kind of my observations around the site speed, potentially why it was hit. There's only two more things which I think is worth mentioning here. One is like most of the content is recipe content, which is awesome. The only downside is you don't have any recipe schema, and we know that certain niches require schema to work better, essentially, to play with the big boys. And in the recipe and food space, you kind of need schema, especially if you've got individual recipe pieces of content. You need recipe schema. So get a plugin. Usually they're paid, and then it'll add a little recipe box at the bottom. You can input your ingredients, your instructions, etc., and then add a video, add an image. And what that does is it activates the SERP features. So whenever you search for a recipe, you'll typically get the like recipe gallery, which is like the images or videos. You can start appearing in those. You're not going to appear in those typically unless you've got the schema. Or if you search for it and like the video carousel comes up, you're not going to appear in there unless you've got a video within your recipe card. So definitely kind of look at that. There also seems to be like some kind of short codes that's missing throughout the pages. I don't know what these are meant to be, but there's either the plugins being removed and this is using like a short code for a plugin that no longer exists, or there's something going on there, but it's throughout the content quite a bit. You've got it there and you've got another one here. So I don't know what that is. I'll definitely have a look at that. And then the other thing, which I think it would be interesting for this website, is you have a ton of like individual recipes. We've seen lots of successful sites work where they do kind of roundups of recipes. Now, typically they'll start with a roundup. So you could do like, 30 quick and easy chicken side dish recipes, for example. And usually if they don't have 30 chicken side dish recipes on their own website, they'll link out to competitor websites that have those recipes and they'll do a little roundup. In this case, I bet if you've got enough individual recipes where you could link to 30 individual chicken side dish recipes on your own website, or the majority of them, and you could turn those roundup posts into awesome kind of like hub pages where you just do a massive amount of internal linking. You've got 30 recipes, 30 internal links through to 30 individual recipes. Those individual recipes could link back to that page and vice versa, and before you know it, like the site is massively internal linked, and it's done in a really nice and efficient way. So yeah, that's my roundup kind of insight into what I think William could potentially look at on RecipeSelf.com. I know Mark didn't have a chance to look at the site very much. I don't know if that's kind of sparked anything else, Mark, you want to share?
If you let me share my screen, I've kind of one other thing I've kind of noticed as I was just having a look before I jumped on. So I just took a look on Wayback Machine, and just one thing that kind of stood out for me is it's got a Right For Us link up here. If you take a look at historically, it's got a Right For Us, which would normally indicate that this has been used for guest posting, basically. And weirdly, when you go to the Right For Us page as well, it's even got like the old school ways to search for guest posting, which is just don't do this. Don't Google this stuff to find guest posting, because this is the surefire way to get bad links. Because if we see this kind of Right For Us when we're looking for an age domain, we just it's a red flag for us straight away, because it's probably a guest posting site. There's a good chance that Google would have flagged this as a guest posting site and therefore might not give it credibility. I took a look at where it's linking out to, and it is linking out to loads and loads of food sites. So obviously the food sites have kind of got in touch. They've had a guest post posted, and then they're linking out to all these food sites. At least it's not linking out to casino or porn sites or anything like that. So that's a good thing. And when you look at the anchors, the outbound links, they kind of all kind of make sense. So that is a good sign. I guess the only thing I would probably mention is that if you feel like you're building links and you're creating content and like that trend continues to go down on that site, it may be that you might just need to kind of give up on that domain and either get another domain to put the content on, or start a new fresh domain, and it just might be that this domain is tarnished in some way, and therefore you might decide at some point to give up on it if it doesn't start to turn around as you'd expect it to. That's the only thing I'd kind of mention there. I have a feeling that that William is now back up to speed because he's kind of been nodding at the right time. So are you here?
Oh,
William?
really?
Yes, you're
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
It's
cool.
working.
Great. Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
I guess
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, you're up to speed now. So tell us a little bit about yourself, but also I mean, we just dumped a load of stuff on you guys. So
Yeah, no, I really appreciate y'all sharing all that. My question, I don't know. I mean, you said a lot. You're right. And what does someone who's not technical do? Because I keep having this issue. Like, people give me great advice, but it's difficult to execute on if you're not a technical person. I'm like, I would be happy to pay a freelancer $1,000 to just do all of that. Like, I'd be happy. But
yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that we can kind of definitely help out with. We don't have specific services for like page speed, but I can definitely hook you up with some services that do help with that. The ones there's one called WP Page. Oh, was it? There's one called Fixed.net, and there's what's the other one? Speed. Oh, I can't remember. WP. I'll find it for you after anyway, and then I can kind of link you to those. But they're really good for like getting the page speed like sorted out and things. For adding schema and things like that, that's something that we do for our clients is when we're creating content. It's not something that we kind of do retrospectively. I'm sure you'd probably find a freelancer to do that. I don't know if you've got any ideas on that, Adam, but
the schema stuff would be it's more difficult on the recipe stuff just because to add the recipe schema you need like an actual recipe. You need the ingredients, the amount of ingredients, typically the number of calories, the prep time, the cook time, and stuff like that. Typically we don't create individual recipe content because we know it's really hard to create that kind of content. Like, it's really hard to create individual recipes that can compete with an actual person in the kitchen cooking it, taking photos, writing the recipe as they go, and then putting it on a site. The type of content that we do create and have seen really good success in the food space is those roundups that I mentioned, where you do like 30 chicken side dishes or 30 quick and easy chicken side dishes. And in that case, you don't have to make the recipes because you just link to 30 recipes that already exist. Either they exist on your website or they exist on someone else's website, and it's just a recipe name, an image of the recipe or something like that, and then like 150, 200 words like roundup or explanation of why this recipe is good and was included in our roundup of the best 30, and then a link either to your recipe or to the recipe on the competitor site. And we've seen that kind of content work really well. There's a great site that's done an awesome job of that called insanelygoodrecipes.com. They've got tons of these roundup posts, and they started out where they didn't have lots of the individual recipes themselves. They linked out to other websites. But as the site's got bigger, the site's been around for a couple of years now, and I think according to Ahrefs gets like 10 million visits a month. As the site's got bigger, they've clearly got the budget to now invest in a team where they've created the individual recipes and they've replaced those links internally now. So they've done it backwards. They never had their own recipes. They linked out to everyone else's. Then when they had the resources and the team to build in-house to make these awesome recipe content, they went back and added them and updated those pages then.
Okay. Fun fact, that drop-off in revenue that you see is right when I purchased it.
Oh, no.
I know, yeah. So just so you know, like as soon as it like got into my hands around February 1st, I mean, I had looked into the site for maybe a month. So maybe in December or January, I uncovered it and it was where it was.
Yeah.
And I've asked the previous owner, and they said, hey, you need to just put 2 or 3 or 4 pieces of content every day at the level of quality of the content of the old content that you see. And that's what they said. They're like, hey, volume every day. That's what you need to do for Google. And
I think there's definitely some truth in that. I mean, you can't buy a website and then stop producing content or stop working on it and continue to expect it to grow. It might continue to grow for some time or like stay plateau for some time, but eventually over time it's going to drop off. But the timing looks too much and the drop looks too much to be that. It looks like it coincided with the Google update, and that Google update was to do with page speed. And then when we looked at the pages, we could see that they were failing massively. So, you know, that's where I would be looking rather than pumping up more content, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree, because I'm working with you all and love the work, and it's not the volume is still, I think, very good for the price. But yeah, the quality is like top notch. So I think, yeah, I agree with that.
For sure. Yeah. So that you might find that might be the turning point. Like Mark will send you over some contacts of people that can help with page speed. I think someone's put some, I think Derek's put a comment in there. I can't open it up, Mark, but if you can open up Derek's, he said, Jack KU has a video on site speed. It's very easy to do yourself. You have a bit of time. Derek's managed to get all of his page up to 100. I don't know how technical Derek is, so you can either outsource that, but that would be the first thing I would look at, is getting that site speed up as much as you can, even if it means foregoing a little bit of revenue on those like video adverts to start with, until you hopefully identify that was the problem, that was what caused the drop, and you can see some kind of at least plateauing, because it looks like it's still on the drop, right? I mean, that Ahrefs is not analytics, but it looks like it's still going down.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. And the site did get, I did get the speed up for a while, and then it went back down, like it's fighting some evil force that's slowing it down. So yeah, I will definitely check out site speed as first. Yeah.
Definitely.
I've just put the two companies I've used before in the past, WPSpeedfix.com and Fix.net. They're both good.
Sweet.
I mean, you could do it yourself, but they're like dead cheap, I think, just to get it done if you wanted to.
Hey, love that.
Was this the first site that you've ever bought, William, or like what's your background with investing in sites?
In terms of investing in sites, this is my first one. So yeah.
How does this put you off the experience?
That's why you get the new
and then
vibe.
Has this put you off buying a site and then having it drop like a couple of days after? Has this put you off Has this put you off investing in websites because you bought a site and it dropped off? Or
No,
see this
because I see potential like. No, this doesn't put me off at all, because it's the advice, getting advice like that. Oh, yeah, delays back. Yeah. No, but getting the advice like this, it makes it feel like a website's easier to affect than a stock price if you bought like stock in a company. So I like that we can make tweaks and changes and increase the value pretty quickly, it seems. So I think it's still a compelling investment despite the lag.
That's a great analogy, actually. Like, if you buy a stock and the stock tanks the day after you've bought it, like, you've personally got no recourse on how do you get that stock price up. Like, you've just got to hope that someone else in the company does a good job of doing that. But with a website, you can look and try and identify, and not always, like, but sometimes you can make changes and fix them, and you kind of you're more in control of your destiny than if you bought a stock and then it's just in someone else's hands, right?
Yeah.
Question for you,
mean, I don't affect Bitcoin, but I can affect this, so it's good.
So when you bought the site, how was it? How did the person you bought off tell you it was monetized? Like, was it just ads revenue that they shared with you, or any other revenue?
It was 96 or 99% Zoic Premium and 1% Amazon affiliates. Okay. And the WooCommerce is to support some random Amazon affiliate links that really don't produce any revenue anyway. So for what it's worth. Okay.
Oh yeah, I just wondered if they'd mentioned any guest post revenue or anything, because they clearly were doing guest posts in the past. So it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So we can hook you up with those. Adam, I know you've used some people for Schema in the past, like for your own sites. Like, I don't know if you'd recommend them, but we won't mention them on the stream. But I don't know if that's somebody you can pass on to William, or whether you wouldn't recommend them. I don't know.
I've just always done it myself. I've never used anyone for that.
Oh, okay, I thought you had someone that did a bunch of Schema for you in the past.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. we'll get towards the end of the stream. So sorry for the technical issues, and sorry, William, we only kind of managed to bring you on briefly at the end there. But I hope that was some interest there. And yeah, we'll send over some. Well, I've already sent them in the chat, and you can go back and watch this video after the stream anyway, and get it from the chat. So but yeah, keep us posted with kind of how you get on, and hopefully you can turn that one around. Yeah, I have some worries about it because of being a guest posting site potentially in the past, but there's ways around that too. I mean, the content still has value even if the domain is a little bit isn't what it could be. So yeah, there will be other options. So yeah,
Very
but
cool.
anyway, yeah. Good luck, William, and thanks everybody else for joining us on the stream. And yeah, well, hang on, we haven't done any of the draw or anything yet. We haven't even been promoting it. We only got 25 likes, but we're going to do a draw anyway today because we've been really rubbish at kind of mentioning it. So if you're interested in getting some free merch, then type something into the comments now, and in the next 2 minutes or so, we will do the draw for the merch. In the meantime, just to let you know, there won't be a Thursday live stream this week. We did think there was last week, and we told you there was going to be, and then we forgot that Adam and I are not going to be here. We've actually been nominated for a couple of awards, Niche Website Builders, so Startup Awards. So we're going to go to the Startup Award ceremony and have a few drinks on Thursday, Friday. So we're not going to do a Thursday stream. We're going to be drinking instead. But tomorrow is the Niche Lifestyle Show. And that's over on who else? Whose channel is it?
Alex's
over
channel,
on Alex's channel, WP Eagle. It's how to find the best affiliate programs for your niche. So quite a technical one for the Niche Lifestyle Show, which normally is quite a bit more lighthearted. But we're going to cover that. It'll probably be lighthearted anyway, I expect. But yeah, how to find the best affiliate programs for your niche. Google it is what I would say. But I don't know. We'll see what Alex comes up with.
Forstan's just loving my hair dye. He said, if I win, I'm going to donate my merch to Adam as he needs some for his next hair dye. What's going on here? It looks great. What's going on?
Awesome. And then next week, next week we have another teardown, another Q&A, another guest, and next week on the website investing show, we'll talk about link whisper and internal linking and how we do it. So let me just grab the people and we'll do this draw. Oh no, there's only a few in there.
I think William should get some merch anyway. If you want to let us know, William, do you want a t-shirt or a cap or a hat for being a guest? You let us know, and your address and stuff, and the team will get it sent out to you.
Sounds good.
Sounds great. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we want a photo as well, though, because we've sent out loads of merch now, and we're getting hardly any photos back. So we'll send it on the promise you send us a photo of you in it. Yeah.
Okay.
For the Great Wall of China with your merch, look at this.
Yeah, you have to probably model it for us.
Yeah.
Right, here's some tunes, Adam. Oh, you can't.
No,
Probably.
I can't because I couldn't join properly. I'm just here as a guest.
Okay, here we go. I can't remember which one you had last time. I liked it.
Lounge something.
Down tempo.
Lovely.
Okay.
Smooth transition as always.
I'm actually not even ready at all. I just pressed that button. So, okay, here we go. Let's get rid of Niche Website Builders. I'm going to drop. So who's going to be joining Matthew? Some merch. Matthew!
Williams,
Oh, damn it!
Matthew.
I need to go to sleep and wake up and not think everyone's Matthew. Which Chris is it going to be?
Chris M. Oh boy.
This will be happy. Niche Website Builders employee. So we'll do another one. 2, 3.
Insider
Chris. Insider.
Chris is like, yes, you order the merch, Chris. You just order yourself a t-shirt.
Just order yourself a t-shirt, yeah. Okay, Sue. Sue, you're regular. I don't think Sue's won before, but that's great. Well done, Sue. So yeah, just go over to the Niche Website Builders website, go to the chat or the contact form and let us know what you want, basically. Okay, that's the end. We made it. Well, thanks, William, for joining us and for taking the time today. And
thanks, guys. Really super valuable. Really appreciate it.
No problem. All right. Well, have a great day, everybody, and we'll catch you tomorrow. And WP Eagle.